Well, I will talk about euthanasia. Euthanasia itself, it's not a problem because it's just a medical procedure. The problem is all the controversy that it's formed around it, whether it should be legal or not. Why? Because the only goal, to say it some way, of this procedure is to kill is the end of life, usually fast and painless. I say usually because disconnecting someone from their medical and technical supplies is also considered euthanasia, but this procedure can take even a few hours or almost a day in some extreme cases where the body is still working without the supplies, but eventually they'll die because the patients that are in this state have what is known as cerebral death, which means that its brain has no, it's not sending signals to their body, so they can think, they can feel, they can almost anything by themselves. The only way that their body is still alive is by two reasons. Why? One, because of the instincts of the body. It's something like inertia. It don't something won't stop unless something stops them. But in this case, the body eventually will run out of energy or the signals that make them work. So and the other reason why their body still function is because of the technical supplies, usually machines that help the lungs breathe, and that pumps the blood all over the body. The controversy is, as I said before, because of this procedure, its only goal is to end the life of someone. Most people think that it should be legal because it helps ending someone's suffering, and in some cases it's even arrogant of someone said that it shouldn't be legal when they are not suffering, they don't know the suffer that someone's going through. The biggest problem with this is the disinformation, because some people think that if they make legal the euthanasia, someone that is depressed and that wants to commit suicide would go to the hospital and say, "Hey, I want to die," and that's not how it works. Is, for example, a organ transplant. You're not going to a hospital and say, "Hey, I want to take out my lung, my heart." No, they make tests, and not your organs are not useful for every people. They need to be compatible and stuff like that. So if they make legal the process, it's not like all depressed people or that all people that want to die will go and just die. It doesn't work like that. But people think that uh, that's legalizing suicide, which is not. That's a complete different thing. Most of the controversy is created by church. I'm not saying religion's bad, but in some cases, they said that we as humans do not have the authority to decide whether we should die or not, or somebody else. So they said that only God has the time or the plan for us to when and how we're gonna die, and that is arrogant for us to decide whether we should live or stop living. Uh, until some point, they might be right. You can decide over other people if they can decide by themselves. But as I said before, it's also arrogant to tell that they will surpass all that suffer, that the faith will help them, and in some cases it might. Religious people can pass through a lot of stuff, but thanks to faith, they can make it through. But some people doesn't have that, not because they're bad Christians or any religion. It's just that maybe they don't believe in anything, so they can't rely on some faith that somebody else tells them in order for their to go to pass through all that suffer. Only they know how much they suffer, and sometimes people have been all their life in hospitals with exams, blood tests, and any kind of test. And for us, for example, this year when we didn't go out, we didn't spend with friends. For us, that's not living. That's boring. We're just in house. But for some people, is their whole life is that their whole life are just hospitals, emergency rooms, suffering, more exams, and some people came and said that that's their life, and if God gave them this their life is for something. But as I said before, if they don't have the faith to go past through it, uh, they will be living. But as I said before, for us to live is to make something with our friends, to be happy. For them, it's not like that. So I think that euthanasia, mm, it needs to be legal, but uh, since it is a process to end a suffering person's life, it needs to be legal, but also it needs to people get informed about what is it. If, for example, abortion, some people think that if they legalize abortion, there will be no more babies because everyone is going to abort and humanity's end. And it's not like that. If you want to, you do it. If you don't want to, you don't do it. It's another topic. But something similar happened with euthanasia. As I said before, that's because of the disinformation. So we need to inform it. And especially here in Honduras, I'm doing a survey about euthanasia, and out of 90 people that had answered, almost like not even 20 people have actually lived an experience where their families or their friends have done that process or be denied of that process. So that's why there's so much disinformation, because it's not a usual process we've been through, we're in touch with, we have knowledge about it. Even I didn't even know this topic until the beginning of this year, and since I researched it more and more, I've found it very interesting, all the points of view. But yeah, that's are my conclusions. I think it should be legal, but it also needs to teach people about it. Thank you.